Hello and welcome to the Money and People podcast, the show that connects financial success with the power of human capital. In today's episode, we talk about financial management for SMEs, and I am joined by the beautiful Tamara Banda-Gumbo. Welcome, Tamara.
Thank you so much, and I'm happy to be here. And hopefully, I'll be able to share something wonderful with you today.
We're so happy to have you.
Okay, thank you.
And while I know you personally, I'm sure the viewers are interested to know a little bit about you. So I will start with some icebreaker questions. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and what inspired you to become an accountant?
Okay. So I'm originally from Livingston.
Mm-hmm.
So I come from a family of 8 people, 8 children,
Okay.
and about 4 of us are accountants.
Wow.
So accounting was something that came naturally for me.
Mhm.
I had that problem solving, agility kind of
Yeah.
attitude. So that pushed me towards the accounting profession. So here we are, about 9, 10 years later, got my CBU qualification as well as ACCA, and I recently graduated with an MBA in finance.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Thank you.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so, can you tell us a little bit about your professional journey and how you have enjoyed whatever roles you've had in the accounting space?
Oh, okay. So generally, in terms of my accounting qualification, it's been a fun experience. It's been challenging, and really, I learned so much in my journey because I started out with external audit.
Mhm.
So I was exposed to multiple companies, multiple industries, and really, it gave me that ability to say, okay, accounting is accounting anywhere, like
Yeah.
in any industry, it's the same debit, credit, assets, liabilities.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been an interesting journey.
That's interesting. And I think for those people who are interested in pursuing a career in accounting or finance, they get to then learn that it's not all boring numbers, because
Yes.
from what you've described, I think you've enjoyed your journey.
Yes.
And now I want to find out from you if you've had any unusual financial situation in your career so far.
Okay. So okay, there's been a number, but one key one I remember was a company had automated systems in place.
Yeah.
So, but then when I traveled to audit one of their branches,
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that they were monitoring stock using a book. Like, despite having those automated systems,
Yeah.
like they were still going the manual process. So
Yeah.
it was such a tedious process just to check through how they're monitoring their stock, their sales, which item is the best seller,
Mm-hmm.
if they are selling items at a profit, and basically if they are following that first in and first out kind
Yeah.
of method in terms of stock. Yeah, so that was one of the unusual items. But from that experience, I think looking back, it really taught me that really machine learning, AI,
Mm-hmm.
and just the basic Excel, like,
Mm-hmm.
is really something that is key when it comes to a business, running a business, and it really adds efficiency to our day-to-day activities as a business.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
And so I hope you managed to find out why that company was using a manual way of just taking stock of their inventory, and that you helped them out of that situation.
Yeah, yeah. So you know how it is. Like sometimes when you're used to doing things a certain way, like you are just like, we've always done this using a book, so we'll
Yes.
continue using the book. So it was good to be the change agent for them. And I hope
Yes.
now they're able to look back and say, okay, work is easier. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. That's
Yeah.
interesting. And so if you had to explain accounting to a 5-year-old, how
Mm-hmm.
would you explain it to them?
Okay. 5-year-olds, they're really good at grabbing concepts, eh? So if you tell a 5-year-old something today,
Yeah.
they'll remember it for a very long time. So I would I would start off with telling them it's adding and subtracting.
Mm-hmm.
And I would also just top it up to say, you can see those toys that you have.
Yeah.
So you have to ensure that you record the toys that you have,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to know where they are.
All right. So now that we've gotten to know a little bit about you, I think we can go straight into talking about financial management for small to medium enterprises. And to start off, I'd just like to find out from you one piece of advice that you would give to a small business owner that's starting out today.
Okay, so a piece of advice I would give to a small business owner out there is I'll go back to Benjamin Franklin. You have to take care of the pennies, and the dollars will take care of themselves. So every small decision that you make today
Mm-hmm.
adds up to the bigger picture of your business.
Mm-hmm.
So take your business separately from your personal life. So that's one of the key things out.
I
Yeah.
think that's a very valid point. I've seen that a lot as well in my dealings with small businesses. They like to mix their personal finance with that of the business, and then they'll keep feeling like the business is not growing because
Mhm.
they keep having to finance the business from their pocket. So
Yeah.
that's very important. And also, what are the key financial challenges that small businesses are facing when managing their finances?
Okay, so I'll re-echo what I mentioned actually. So firstly, you find that the business expenses and the personal expenses are
Yeah.
mixed up.
Mm-hmm.
So that causes a tall order if you actually want to assess the financial health of the business.
Yeah.
Another thing is you find that some small businesses are not aware of the tax benefits that are available for them,
Yeah.
and they tend to slow down the ultimate progress of the business.
Mm-hmm.
And one other thing I can add on is the issue of registration with the relevant bodies. Most small
Mm-hmm.
businesses are failing today because they are not compliant. So they end up having a lot of penalties, and yeah, so
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
that's key.
Okay, that's
Mm-hmm.
good. And I think like you have mentioned, in them making sure that they address those regulatory fees that they're supposed to pay, I think that will also save them some costs because they won't incur certain penalties. And so now coming to the actual financial reporting, right? So if
Mm-hmm.
I'm a small business and I'm trying to draw up a budget, I don't know where to start from. How should I do it, and how often should I review it and adjust it?
Okay, okay. So firstly, a budget is basically your income and your expenses.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, you're going to get money from, for example, a relative or a gift from your husband or one of your family members, a loan. So you have to have an idea of how much you're expecting,
Yeah.
and then you have to think about what you're actually going to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Are you providing a service, or it's actually goods and services that you're providing? So I'll give an example of handbags.
Yeah.
So if you have, for example, $200, and handbags, for example, $10, so you're going to make a budget based on, you're going to incorporate the $200, you're going to put in the actual cost of the handbags, the cost of shipping, and you carry on from there. So
Yeah.
basically, a budget is just a plan of how you're going to spend whatever income that you're going to have.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how often should they review it and make adjustments?
Okay, so I recommend at least every 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so at least business, it should be something that is done regularly so that you assess how you're moving, and if there are any adjustments that need to be done, they are done. But if it can even be done regularly, even a monthly, that would
Yeah.
even be better because you'll be able to identify any potential risks in good time.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
And so, if I don't know where to start from in my financial planning, are there any tools that you would recommend that are even user-friendly for a small business owner?
So for a small business owner, your phone is like one
Mm.
wonderful gadget that has, it's almost like a computer.
Mm-hmm.
So start with your phone. You can download Excel, for example.
Yeah.
So Excel is something that you can easily customize.
Yeah.
Other apps sometimes can limit you, and but then Excel is something that's almost free.
Yeah.
It's easily accessible on your phone, and generally, I think the key highlight for Excel for me is that you can customize. Like
Yeah.
it's something that's universal. It's basically a blank check for me. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I totally agree with Excel. Most people just underestimate the value of Excel. They're thinking they need to use a particular accounting software or system, but Excel is actually the basis for most of these accounting applications.
Yeah.
And so the thing with certain apps is they may be here today, but tomorrow you find they've even left the app store.
And you lose your
Yes,
information.
you lose everything. So
That would be
I think with
devastating.
Excel,
My
you
goodness.
get to have some control
Mhm.
and to tailor it to your business.
Yeah.
And so also for small business owners that are not familiar with accounting and they are just trying to think of what financial reports would help them to better analyze their business, are
Mhm.
there any financial reports that they can take particular interest in learning?
I'll put this in a plain and simple way
Mm-hmm.
for any business owner out there, and I'll use numbers actually to explain.
Okay.
So you find that in an event, maybe you're selling hair or a bag or shoes.
Yeah.
If you order a bag for $10
Yeah.
and you sell it for $15, you have made a profit.
Yeah.
So the profit there is the 15 minus the 10, which is the $5.
$5. Yeah.
So you're making a profit. So you're doing great. So that's basically what we refer to a profit and loss.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Then in terms of there's also something known as assets and liabilities.
Yeah.
So an asset is something that creates value for you. So for example, if you're in the same retail business,
Mm-hmm.
and you order a bike, for example, a
Yeah.
bike is something that adds value to your business. It gives you a step over your competitors. So it's important to monitor your assets and your liabilities. And lastly, I'll talk about cash flow.
Mm.
So a small business must be able to monitor the cash that's coming in
Yeah.
and cash that's leaving. So that's why it's important. I encourage small businesses, open a bank account. Yes,
Yeah.
don't mix your personal funds with the business funds. Open a separate bank account. That's how you take your business seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Yeah. Yes.
And then earlier you mentioned just small businesses being aware of what taxes and regulatory fees they need to pay. Are there any common tax issues that applicable to small business, and how can they be proactive in just making sure that they manage them so that they don't incur penalties?
Firstly, I'll talk about the ZRA website, for example.
Mm.
So the ZRA website has a lot of information regarding different industries, what's tax exempt, what
Yeah.
taxes a specific business in an industry attracts and all. So I implore small businesses, if you
Mm-hmm.
can hire a skilled accountant, you may even outsource one.
Yeah.
You may also take time to just attend webinars, just to familiarize yourself with the various regulations that are in place.
Mm-hmm.
Further, I also encourage small businesses to just pick up the phone and call the toll-free line. The toll-free
Yes,
lines available.
ZRA has a
Yes,
toll-free line.
ZRA, Parkra, there are
Mhm.
toll-free lines available, and people are ready to give you the information for free. Yeah, so your costs are kept at bay
Yeah,
and you are compliant.
yeah,
So that also speaks to sustainability. So think of your small business as outliving you actually. So sustainability in business is also key when it comes to compliance as well.
Okay.
Yes.
And I like that you brought out the aspect of sustainability in business because sometimes when we think about business, we're just thinking about the present, but we should also be thinking about generating generational wealth, whereby even if we are not here today, can that small business survive and be able to create wealth even for our future generations?
Yeah.
And so that's why it's important to have conversations like the one that we are having.
Okay.
And so, in terms of just analyzing their business performance, are there key metrics or KPIs that SMEs can use to monitor if they are actually growing in the right direction?
Okay. So I'll speak to an SME that is not in the finance field.
Okay.
Yes, so I want to talk about GP margin, all those fancy
Yes.
terminologies from accounts. So I'll speak to two things. So monitor your revenue,
Mm-hmm.
monitor your cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
Cash flow is the lifeline of your business.
Mm-hmm.
Monitor your credit.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you're selling things on credit,
Mm-hmm.
people are not paying. How will you reorder your business?
Yeah.
So that's like cash which is just out there. So
Yeah.
you have to ensure that you monitor your revenue. So meaning cash that's the sales that you're making,
Yes.
cash that's coming in, and what's going out. Because you can't just be spending. You have to receive cash as well.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
that is so true. Okay, and you mentioned machine learning earlier, so I'd
Yes.
like to take you back to just find out if you think that AI or machine learning is going to play a bigger role in financial management for SMEs going forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So AI to me, I look at it the way we have computers. So like years ago, we didn't have computers. Like computers just came in years later, and they just made work easier.
Yes.
So I implore people to make AI and machine learning their best friend, because I think in the future certain things that are done that are routine
Yeah.
will be done using AI and machine learning. Things like bookkeeping, for example. I
Yes.
think already I think you can link your bank account to your to certain accounting packages already.
Yes.
In the past, you would actually need someone to input the specific items from the bank into an application. So
Yes.
I believe that AI and machine learning are here to help us better, but they're not here to replace the human being in the business.
Yes.
Yes. So the human being aspect, it gives a personal touch. Just that smile when you walk into a shop. It can be replaced by AI, but
Yeah.
AI is our friend. It's something that will help the business run more efficiently. It will help
Yes.
us make focus even better. So I think
Yeah.
it's our best friend. It's our best
Okay,
friend
that's
generally.
good.
Yeah.
And I think for our audience, that's a very good takeaway. Most of the time when we're hearing about AI, we want to just detach and feel like this is gonna be a threat. But where we are going, it's one of those things we're going to have to embrace and
Yes.
just learn to use in order to harness its power. So, if there are those small businesses that are struggling with finances or financial management, what's one piece of advice that you can give them to just get them back on track?
Okay. A piece of advice is cash is king.
Yeah.
Cash is king. It's the lifeblood of your business. Monitor it. You're going to see your business grow.
Okay.
That's
Okay. And I don't want to give you a follow-up question to this, but there are just people who keep on complaining right now to say business is tough, the economy is hard, they're not able to generate as much cash as they were. And so there are businesses that are maybe feeling like shutting down because of the current economic situation. What would you say to those?
Okay. So I would say go back to the drawing board. Because there are opportunities out there. So I'll give you an example. For example, at the moment there are issues of power in Zambia.
Yes.
Yeah. So try to address the problems that are around you. Sometimes you don't actually have to purchase goods and services for you. You don't have to actually purchase an item and resell it. Sometimes it's just a service that you can actually provide to that would put you a step above. So please keep pushing. Don't give up. Your business can succeed despite any current situation. There are millions of businesses that have overcome recessions in the past, and maybe that's when you're going to break. So just keep pushing. It's not, don't give up. Don't stand at a point of this is where it ends, but look at a point of re-strategizing, change direction, look at what's in the environment, and everything will go well.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you so much. I'm feeling encouraged. I'm feeling as if you're talking to me as well. Okay,
Yeah.
and also, if listeners or viewers want to learn more about financial management for small businesses, where can they find such resources, and can they also connect with you regarding the same?
Okay. So listeners can connect with me on LinkedIn. Tamara B Gumbo is my personal page name, and
Okay.
for the company, it's Cuban Consulting Limited on
Okay.
LinkedIn. Yes. So I'm sure in a few months' time we'll be available on Instagram as well as Facebook as well.
Okay,
Yes.
great. I think we'll also try as much as possible to include those details as we share the um, broadcast for this episode. And
Okay.
the last question that I want to ask you, Tamara, is what's the best piece of financial advice that you've received in your career that you would give to any business owner or even just the general audience out there? What's the best piece of financial advice you've received?
Okay, so the best piece of advice is plan, plan, plan.
Mm-hmm.
So failing to plan is definitely like just the end of it. So
Yeah.
I've always been encouraged to ensure that I put a pen and paper to all my plans, and just try by all means to plan ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I like the simplicity of that
Yeah.
and how it's a simple but very important piece of advice that applies not just to the finances, but in every area of life.
Yeah.
I have really enjoyed this episode with you, Tamara,
Okay.
and I hope our viewers have also learned a lot about financial management for small businesses. This has been the Money and People podcast. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.